Right now, I would say my most meaningful relationship is with my mom. Growing up, we didn't really have like the best relationship, but we've been like kind of rekindling that, and it's been really great. And I kind of understand now why people love their moms so much.
My husband is my best friend, so like there's that, and I can't imagine life without him. But I also have like my girlfriends, and I feel like they fill a different role than like my husband does. We like do a wifey club once a month with a bunch of other friends that also have like spouses, and I wouldn't trade that time like for anything. Like the conversations that we have and the memories that we build, I feel like there are so many different types of relationships that just fills different parts of you that like I can't pick just one. Yeah. So, and then you have family too that like that's like your first like primary like relationships, and you know they teach you about relationships, good and bad, but like I feel like the longevity and the history that's there like also feels really important.
Definitely a relationship with my family. Like you can't like go out of it with your mom, like keep your connection good with like your mom and dad and things like that. So like always stay like clear with like immediate family.
If I would have to say, as saying right now, 73 years is with the Lord Jehovah in grace, because now that I know him as I got older, I just love him. I thank him for his praise. I thank him for all his gifts that he has given me.
Wow, my most important relationships in my life are with my kids.
And I would say that, and grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
All of my relationships feel interconnected. Like my friends help me be a better wife. My mother helps me be a better mother, you know, and so I can't say one is more valuable than the other because they all influence each other.
Yeah.
I'm Melissa Threadgill, and I am a therapist at Fairmount Behavioral Health. I have been a therapist for just over 5 years at this point. When I started working in human services, I started when strengths-based was the new hot button thing. Right now, I would say it's trauma-informed care, which it needs to be. But strengths-based, we try to utilize the things that a person already shows up with because it obviously works for you. Why wouldn't I use the thing that I'm already really good at? If I know that I am a really good advocate, and I know that I'm really good at speaking up for myself or speaking up for others, I'm going to try to utilize that advocacy lens to be able to address whatever else it is that I'm going through in my day-to-day. If I know that I am someone that is very protective of those that I care about, I'm going to try to use those protective skills to be able to strengthen things that I struggle with or things that I'm still challenged by. So as a strengths-based therapist, I tend to lean on the side of allowing the patient to make the determination for themselves. I've worked with people for many years and recognize it's not necessarily about what I want for them, it's about what they want for their own lives. And within that, I help them understand, you know, where their boundaries are, what they feel is in their best interest, and then allow them to kind of make that determination. And even when I think that a bridge should be burnt, it's not my decision because it's not my life. So I try my best to help them understand the nature of the situation. If they're saying that their boundaries are one thing and they're doing something differently, I will make sure that they understand and see the incongruence between the two. So burning bridges is always a challenging subject because it's usually not something and it's not a decision that's come too lightly. Usually when I've seen individuals that have burnt bridges, it's either because the people that they are cutting off have been toxic to them, or they have been cut off because their behaviors were not in line with what people needed or went above and beyond the assistance they were able to give them. So when that determination comes, there's usually, the biggest thing I lean into nowadays is mourning, and mourning the relationship that you've lost because it probably wasn't easy to come to the decision to burn bridges because usually it's family members or very, very close friends who have become toxic. So they're still remembering, oh, but this was the person I went to for everything, and this is the person that I always was talking to when I wasn't okay. And that's hard to reprogram your entire life, especially if it's family that you're having to burn the bridge with. So I reiterate to them, you know, what are the goals and what are the things that you want to focus on in your life? How is that person not serving that new focus? And then try to find people that are in line with that way of thinking. Now, if they're the person that has been cut off from others, I usually go into the focus of trying to help them find new resources, new supports, new things within their life, because I want them to continue to grow and I want them to continue to prosper, but that can only happen if we have a support system. As people, we need community, we need others around us. Even individuals that like to isolate need human contact at some point in time. So recognizing, okay, I have to have a support system, even if it's I'm a toxic person and I need to learn I'm a toxic person. You need to have new people in your life that kind of understand where you are to maybe then understand how toxic you're being. If a person has been cut off from their family, frequently they don't recognize what it is that they were doing that was causing the problem. And taking the time to understand where they are, to understand what it is that they still need to survive, because usually those people where their survival, what's the best way to say that? They're like lifeline. And if I don't have a lifeline when an emergency happens, you're kind of SOL if you don't have some kind of a support system. So having someone understand their part of it and really just educating them on, okay, well, I understand that you're hurt that mom said that she's done and she doesn't want to help you anymore, but why did mom get to this place? Okay, you were stealing from her. Okay, well, you weren't honest with her when you took the car and returned it without gas. Like, just those little things, and there we go, that they need to understand and try to help them see it from the other person's perspective, because I think oftentimes communication gets lost because of misinterpretation or not hearing the other person, or just showing up to the conversation with a different life lens than the other person. So while one person might hear this, or I said just this, somebody else might interpret it completely different because they're not seeing it from the same way.
And if you had to offer a person who was thinking about burning a bridge right now advice, what would it be?
Take your time and think about it. Usually when I hear burning bridge, it is final. There is no turning back. And that is a big decision. It doesn't mean that it's permanent, because just because I burn a bridge today doesn't mean 15 years down the line, when I've grown and you've grown, that we can't eventually come back together. But just having them really take the time and make sure it's what's in their own best interest. Is this really what you want to do? How are you going to continue to support yourself beyond that? Because frequently, even support doesn't necessarily have to be financial. It doesn't have to be some kind of housing. It could just be, this is the person that I always cry to, but they were always throwing it back in my face. So I think I need to walk away from that person. And that's fine, but do you understand the gravity of what that's going to do to you? Where are you in your life that, is this the right time to do that? And sometimes the answer is, hell yes, it's the right time. This person is horrible for you. You need to walk away. You need to cut the thing. But it's not for me to make that determination. They have to be emotionally and mentally ready to do that and to want to move on to their lives and move on with their lives and know how to kind of fill in that gap that it's going to create.
I feel like if people like kind of like respect each other, if you have like good respect, like I always like if you like trust your gut instinct with someone and you just like purely feel comfortable with them, like they're worth fighting for. But if you feel like you're occasionally getting that like you think they won't fight for you or your friendship, then I won't like waste my time. Like just like don't waste your time with something.
As you grow and mature, I think you start to know what you deserve. And know what you want to invest in. I think there are relationships that, even though they have that history and longevity, it's just not healthy anymore to like maintain. And I think it's not that I don't want to put in effort. I think friendships or relationships takes effort, and sometimes they're not going to be easy, and sometimes people are not going to be their best. But I think when it's clear that they are in a place when their unhealthy places is now affecting your own health, I think that that's where the cutoff is for me. It's like, I want to be there for you, but like I can't do that without myself drowning too, and I have to put myself first in that way.
I feel like you kind of always intuitively know, and you kind of have that like inner argument with yourself. But basically just when like you feel like the pros are outweighing the cons, or it's not aligned with what you want to do in life or who you want to be in life.
So the bridge is being burned by Trump against democracy. It's a way that we'll have to fight to get back, but if there continue to be king-like proclamations and passing of tariffs, it really is the same as it was in 1775 in many ways. So that's the bridge that I see burning for my grandchildren to the country that I love and grew up in.
And in terms of our position in the world, we've had a stance of supporting a rule of law all around the globe and supporting underdogs. And we want to come back to that instead of abandoning our allies.
I don't think I have anyone that I would feel comfortable sharing, because I think you shouldn't burn a bridge.
Yeah.
You just should not.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm 76, and at my time of life, you do think back over some of those relationships and you do kind of reach out to rekindle some of them. So yeah. The same thing. I prefer not to share specifics, but it's an important thing to do.
There definitely are. I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and it was just someone who was very significant in my life for a brief period of time, and like they're happy now with someone else and I'm happy right now, but it feels like all of that was just taken away so easily. And I understand people shouldn't be like friends outside of like dating each other, but I would still like to be their friend just because they were a huge part of my life.
Damn.
And I feel like that's a bridge I wish I never had burned, but I still wish them the best. Like, it's never gonna be something like hateful towards them.
A lot of people, yes. But I don't know if that's for the best, but yes, there's definitely a lot of people in my past that have burned bridges. And I think no matter what, whether they align with you or not, you're still gonna miss parts of them, like, no matter where you are.
No, because, I will say in the past, I didn't really burn bridges in a thoughtful way. Like, it was usually a dramatic ending when I was like in college, high school. The ending was always very dramatic. And so, no, I don't regret, even though it's like, okay, I probably could have shown up a little bit differently. I don't regret ending that relationship because it's clear that we were just immature or whatever the case was, right? And so that feels like, okay, that season is over, it's good. Now, when I close a book because of where I am in life and maturity, that's it. It was usually well thought out, prayed about. There's no need to backtrack because I made the decision knowing full well why I was making it, and I stand by it. So I have zero regrets. If anything, what I regret now somewhat is not ending relationships sooner than I had. And so there's some grief with that, you know, like grieving old versions of yourself who just didn't know any better. But I don't necessarily regret the relationship ending.
Should I say something? I think I'm just gonna restart.
Yeah, you should just restart.
Hi guys, you're watching from Every Angle. My name is Haniyah, and over the past month I have compiled interesting facts and tidbits about the phrase burning bridges and also the art of burning bridges. And today I have my friends here, Julia and Isabel.
Hi. Hi. Hi.
Yes. So are you guys excited to be here?
Yes, of course.
Very excited. Have you guys burned bridges before?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yes. I think we all have.
Yeah.
Where do you guys think the term burning bridges originates?
Ooh. There has to be some historical context for sure. Like someone burned a bridge, like physically burned a bridge, and then they were like, this is what it's called now. It's a metaphor.
I remember it. I don't know if it was Alexander the Great, but I remember once hearing a story that this guy set boats on fire so that his men couldn't go back home, so they'd fight to win.
Oh.
I remember hearing that.
Yes, you're very close.
Oh.
So actually, it has Roman origins.
Of course.
So it comes from a time when generals used to tell their troops to burn the bridges after crossing, and also boats. So mostly it was to solidify their own victory, but most of the time it was so the enemies couldn't retreat.
Oh,
okay.
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
Now, we have a quiz for you guys. Quiz time!
Yay. Okay.
It's all right if you guys didn't study.
No, I didn't study.
What are the choices you face when approaching a bridge? We have A, cross it, B, retreat, and C, swimming in the water next to it.
Or A and B.
A and B? Locking in your answers?
I don't know.
I'm gonna say D. I was always taught if there's a all of the above answer, pick that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
And the answer is?
Yeah!
A and B.
You're so smart. Oh my God.
Yes.
I love it.
I studied.
So bridges often represent lasting decisions. So crossing it leaves room to a return, while retreating leads it to avoidance. So if you don't cross the bridge, obviously you're avoiding it in the metaphor type of scene. So crossing a bridge, then burning it leaves no room for return, hoping that the decision that you made is very final. So how comfortable are you guys ending a bond with someone, and what does that usually look like?
I think it's hard ending a bond with someone. For me personally, I think it's difficult because I feel like I let people get intertwined really easily. And then it's difficult to let it go, for sure. Especially when it feels so permanent in a way.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm really mad at someone, obviously it's easier. But,
Check.
Right.
Goodbye.
But there's always that moment after you burn a bridge where you like think to yourself like, oh, I'm gonna text them, and then you remember like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's awkward.
Do you guys have like certain ways you like what solidifies burning a bridge? Like, do you just like block them on Instagram? Do you just stop texting them? Like, what does that like really look like?
Blocking them's a big one. I also think another one is like, I don't know, just, this sounds bad, but being mean, being like, I'm not texting you again.
Yeah.
That's fair, that's fair.
Yeah. I think blocking is the option for me. Unfortunately, there is the option to unblock, which I find myself hitting the unblock and being like, what's going on? And then I just hit block again. It's a never-ending cycle.
Yeah.
Have you ever burned a bridge like face-to-face in person, like instead of like through the phone?
Yeah. I think that's the way to go, because I think it's like, you're definitely like cognizant that you want to burn the bridge, and I think it's like taking the step to do it. That's too important. Like, you can't do that. I feel like you can't do that over text. Someone tried to do it over text, and then I was like, we're gonna meet in person and talk about this, because this is an important thing. Like, you shouldn't just be texting about it.
I have done it over text, but I feel like in person's more common because like you meet up, maybe not necessarily with the intent to burn a bridge, but then like the conversation goes really badly and it ends poorly, and then you just kind of get the sense of, I'm probably not going to text this person again.
Yeah, right.
Very fair, nice. All right, so we're gonna switch gears.
Okay.
Switching gears into how the burning bridges affects the world around us, physically or not. So we're gonna talk about burning bridges of democracy. So due to like recent news, there's a lot of, problems with our current government and the state of our world, things that are affecting things around us, not only in our country, but also outside and otherworldly. So here are some examples of some things that might disrupt like the democracy bridge, as we say. So misinformation and propaganda that can lead to mistrust in the government, people not really like relying on the government, and it seems like shady. The limiting of free speech is a big one. That is like a big problem, that freedom of speech is a big thing with democracy.
Right.
And if we see that destroyed, then what's left? And then we have the polarization and division. This is very important because I feel like the parties, it's like now recently it kind of solidifies like people's relationships with other people.
Yeah.
So before, I feel like your party is supposed to represent like more of like a competition. Like it's supposed to be like a sports team type of thing.
Yeah.
And now I feel like there's this divide of like, they see each other as enemies as more than competition. So that's something that is kind of burning the bridge as well.
Yeah.
So how are some of these examples used today? Do you guys have any like things that are happening in the world that you think relates to this?
Yeah.
I mean, the ICE raids are a huge one. You're basically telling a whole group of people that, they're not welcome in this country. And for the fact that our country was, amongst other things, founded on immigration and immigrants, it's crazy that you're going to tell this entire demographic that, you want to kick them out with extreme prejudice. It's horrendous.
Yeah, and it's so targeted, and it's not even about like being legal or illegal. It's just like, this is who you are, and now I don't want you to be here.
Right. Trump's trying to get rid of like birthright citizenship now.
Yeah.
So he's not even being subtle.
No. Oh, he's not being. He doesn't want to be subtle.
No. And we were talking also about like peaceful protests. Like you can show up to a protest with the best intentions, and still like the cops will be called, and then it will become violent, and then like the military will be called, tanks rolling in because you wanted to protest peacefully.
Yeah. It's upsetting. No. He's definitely trying to rule.
Yeah. It's really polarizing the country.
It is, yeah. It's upsetting.
Hopefully we'll see it rebrand. Do you think there's any way to Like, I feel like I don't want to say the bridge is burnt. It's definitely
it's in the
flames.
process. Yeah.
Do you
it's
think
in the
there's any
process.
ways we could like put the fire out or like?
I definitely think community is very important. Especially just like being aware of the situations that are happening, staying educated, and I think people coming together is important for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's the key.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in the country that don't agree with what he's doing, and I think just, those people standing up and being loud about it, I think is a big part of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Speaking of power to the people, we are going to share some personal stories. So I've asked you before if you guys have burned any bridges, so I'm going to give you guys the floor now. How did it end and how does it affect you now?
Yeah. Well, I have recently burned a bridge. I think when people talk about burning bridges, I feel like it's mostly people that you're like romantically involved with. Perhaps, I don't know. I feel like that's the most common one that I hear, which did recently happen to me. But it's hard because you see, I was very involved and with this person for multiple years during formative years of my life. And I think like you do start to consider them like that's your best friend. And the bridge was burnt and it was very hard. It was really hard. Like, and I had a lot of intuition that it was coming, and I was like, okay, this is going to happen. Whether I insinuated or he does, like, I don't know. But it did happen, and it was probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, for sure. Because we were very intertwined, for sure. So, yeah, how did it end? Probably not in the best way, but I definitely think like being supported by other people is super important. And I have a great support system, my friends, yay. And I think transitioning from people leaving your life, it's like grieving for sure. So I'm going through the stages of grief currently, but thank God for therapy, everybody. Invest, because it's well worth it, for sure.
My mother's side of the family, I don't speak to them anymore, which is probably the biggest bridge I ever burned. Some of the reasons were political. They're very conservative people, and we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things. And that's an example of a bridge that was burned in person, because we went and had a family meeting and it went really, really badly, and that was the last time we spoke with them. So it didn't end well. I mean, it ended well for me because I had to leave.
Right.
It was
You're winning.
Yeah, it wasn't a very pleasant altercation. And one thing about that was they kept trying to reach out after I burned the bridge, of trying to call the house, call my cell phone, and get in touch. And I had to block them and be no, I don't want to talk to you, Now it doesn't affect me so much. It was 6 years ago, but at the time it's I don't have grandparents anymore. That was very strange, but
yeah, burning bridges with family is there's a lot of layers.
There's a lot of
layers because you're related to them.
Yeah.
Well,
it's difficult.
Thank you guys so much for coming in and having this conversation.
Thank you.
Hope you guys had a good time, learned something new.
Yeah, of course.
And thank you guys for watching. So tune back in, like and subscribe. Bye.
Bye.